we are going to start looking at the Hanoi challenge. Sean and I. So, I have never looked at this one before at all. Have you looked at this one, even just to check it out?
Nope, I'm reading it right now.
You know what? I clicked away. I didn't even read it. I probably should go back and read it.
No default password. A password is set by first connecting. So it's this, you set the password somehow. It's probably already set, obviously, but I don't know if we'll be resetting it or if we'll be figuring out where they stored it. It has a Bluetooth connector.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer.
Okay. So I don't see a check password, but I see a test password valid. I don't know if that's for entering it the first time or if that's for confirming. Testing if password is valid.
Yeah, there's definitely, I just went ahead and ran through it, and it definitely has that text comes up and says that testing if password is valid. So there's like an additional check in here. It also tells us, remember, passwords are between 8 and 16 characters. So that's good to know. I mean, that gives us info. So let's see. Reset it.
We're doing pushes and pops in this one. So that's an interesting question then. Obviously, we're pushing and popping from the stack, but where would the stack be represented in our debugger?
I think it's SP. It's a stack pointer.
Okay.
The SP register. So we're moving. So I just came through right out of right after it tests. You enter your password,
Yep.
and it's moving 2400 into R15. So it's moving the literal value 2400 into R15. And then we're going into the password valid, and then it's going to test R15 when we get back out, and it's going to jump. Okay, let's see. I'm in the test function now. I don't know.
Yep.
Push.
Test password valid.
So what is an R4? 0. So it's pushing 0 onto the stack.
And it's moving the address of the stack pointer back to register 4.
The little memory part of the screen will actually show you where your stack pointer is at in memory too. It's nice. Like puts the little red dots around it.
Yeah.
So inc D. So it put the stack pointer back into R4. Yep. It's the
So
pointer.
that's double increment.
Double increment.
Just going to move it forward twice in the 2 bytes forward as far as what the address is now pointing at.
That's new command. Okay, so.
And then decrement, double decrement the stack pointer.
So R4 is now going to go up by 2.
Yep, and then it backs up SP by 2.
So they're going further. Okay. So then SP is a stack pointer.
Then we're going to move 0 to the address that R4 is at. -4. So that's actually going to move it to the same place as the stack pointer, I think.
The stack pointer is currently at 43F8. And so we're going to move 0 to, well, we're actually looking at 4-3 F.
FC.
Where's 4-3 F8? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's already 0 right now. It should not do anything.
But we're looking at 4, which is 4-3 FC.
Oh.
Register 4. And then looking at that
4-3
minus
FC.
4.
Oh, okay. 4-3 FC. So 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A, B, C, minus 4. Yeah, it's right here. That's where the stack pointer is.
I don't know why they did it that way. But
then we're moving this value. What is this value?
to R14, which is 2 for me right now. Is that what yours is?
R14 right now?
Oh, but we're actually moving it into R14, right?
Yeah. So we're about to wipe out R14 with whatever this is. What is that value? I'm gonna pop it into like CyberChef and
It may just be the address down in the, because we do have kind of a data section at the end here. FFFO is our last line.
it's not like printable characters or anything.
Yeah, and then we're adding R4 to R14.
So we're moving that straight into R14 for some reason. It's not like a memory location. FFFC. Actually, no. Yeah, it could be a memory location, a straight up memory location. Yeah, check it out. FFFC is right here. So
Yeah, just before the section before, right? 4444. The last.
yeah, there's the 2 zeros there. That's
E though.
Oh, that's E. You're right. Yeah. So okay, so copies that to R14 for some reason. Then we're going to add R4 and R14, and right now 4 is 43 FC.
Is that we may be negating it? I wonder if that's what we're doing. A bitwise negate. That's the other thing that FFF could be. Because to negate something, you make it full and then add to it, and that gives you the negative of it.
Yeah.
Because when we add that, I stepped into it, and it's now like 4-3 F8.
I'm pushing more stuff on the stack. R14 got pushed onto the stack.
Push R15.
And we're pushing a straight up number, 7D. And then we're going to call a function. We have not to date calling a function from inside of our password checkers. I noticed that we did all of that happened statically. There was no decision tree here. That was just, it's going to happen every time. So let's go, we got to see what this function is that they called. I guess we might as well step into it, huh?
So it's actually calling a function at an address?
Yeah. I was thinking about, you know what I probably should have done is just stepped over this function right now because this may not be anything. So I think I'm going to step clean out of it. Just skip this function for now and see what happens when we come back. See if it does anything here. So then it's moving a single byte for 4 bytes earlier before R4. And it's moving those. So what is that? R4 is 43FC. 43 FC. It's 48. It's going to move that into R15, if I'm not mistaken. Clearly, I was mistaken. I don't know what the heck just happened. What is SXT? Where's that?
Extend sign.
So
That doesn't help me.
SXT. Well, extend sign, it means your overflow idea is on track, because
Okay.
that's how they determine what signed number, right? You set, if you're using signed integers, you set the most significant bit to 1, and that tells the software, tells everything that this is a negative number.
Right.
Treat it differently. Let's look at what happens. R15 is 0, though. I'm doing all this. And they're moving 8 onto the stack pointer. So, okay. Or adding 8 to the stack pointer. And then we're going to pop R4, which is 43 FC.
So we're popping 2 R4. Is that right?
Yes, you should be popping the stack pointer off into, and they're only 2 bytes away from each other as they sit right now anyways. The stack pointer is currently at 43 FA, and R4 is at 43 FC. And so yeah, we should be popping the stack pointer into R4. No? Do I not understand anything about anything?
It's the value that's in that.
Oh, the value in that. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
And now we're going to test R15. Okay. So what we should have paid attention to on the way through the first time was we knew that R15 is going to be an important one when we get out of all this.
And that test, what is test?
Test is just to check it against 0. It's basically a comparative 0. So and then we have a login function. Do we want to go inside of that right now? I mean, depending on the challenges, some of the challenges are probably going to be like the object isn't actually going to be to find the right password, but to figure out how to overflow it or something to get to get the login to trigger, even if you don't have the right password. So do you want to step into it or over it for now?
Let's step into it and see what it looks like.
You're a brave man. It literally just said that password is not correct. That was like a single step right into that.
So somewhere before there, it's checking something, right?
Well, you see right above us, I see access granted. Just another possible way to attack stuff is work your way back from something you know is good.
Yeah.
Well, I got it to print password granted on the screen, so that's or access granted.
Did you just jump to where it?
Yeah, I just lied to the status register and tried to get it to. Yes, okay. So it says door unlocked. Okay. So, but I see what the end goal has to be. I don't know if that'll help you. If you
Okay.
let
Yeah,
me.
show me that. No.
He's like, and then I'll figure it out for you. Okay, so when I came into here, the big deal is not inside here that I was looking at. 1 second. I gotta find it again. I should have wrote down the location. here. So once we do this test right here, it's going to do a jump if 0. Basically, it's going to say if we do this test, if it's not 0, if 0 is set, we're going to jump 8 bytes ahead, which is testing if password is valid. If it's not set, we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to move the literal value 47 into this memory location, 2410, right? I should write that down. So we need to get that set. Well, then what happens is after it does the testing of the password, and then it puts that on the screen, it compares what's in 2410 to this literal 0xDE. So it literally compares it to DE. So something has to, like if this compare pass or doesn't pass, if it's not,
if that's not what's in 2410, then it jumps past the access granted. 4570 is password not correct. So whatever in 2410, it checks to see if it equals DE.
And if it does,
then we get access granted.
Yeah, because so if I say, actually, before I do that, I want to turn off the 0 bit on this. So I'll say let SR equals 1. That disables it. Then when I step, it acts as though I had gotten that part right. And then if I step again, we get that value. It writes that value into. It's interesting. We write that value. We legit hard write that value right into that variable just 2 steps before. So we actually don't want to pass that test. This test right here, we want to fail because we don't want this to get written. We don't want 47 written to that byte.
Okay.
Because nothing else happens between here and there. You know what I mean? So
we're testing R15 at that point to see if it contains 0.
Yeah, I think we're testing R15 at that point to make sure that our password is valid, maybe.
Yeah. So we had just done the test password valid, and so somewhere in test password valid, it had done a bunch of work and then moved stuff into R15.
So this is what would get triggered if we don't have the. Right here it gets triggered if we don't have the right linked password requirements. So the big one is this. We want 0xDE to be in 2410 at the end of this. So I wonder if I'm not thinking of something clearly when it comes to dereferencing this memory location. Because right now I'm about to compare the byte, the literal number 0xDE. I'm going to compare that to what I thought was supposed to be the value at 2410, right? But the value at 2410 is 0.
So what is... So I can't overflow by typing too much into the password field. It just cuts off after a certain amount, even though it lets me type more.
All right, I'm just going to set a break here, and I'm going to focus on this function and what it does. This int function. I think it's doing the...
Oh, okay. So 2410?
Uh-huh.
That would be if there's anything there to start with. someone has entered more than 16 characters. So 2400 is where the
So you're
password.
sure that's not the overflow? We can put this password that we want to put at 16 characters? So, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, let me get rid of these. I have a
So what is it checking for at 2410?
DE, 0xDE.
Okay. So what is DE in?
So this is just a basic overflow. Oh boy. And we were going, maybe, hopefully. Where is? I wonder if you're gonna want to send it in hex again, like I'd done for the last couple.
Yeah, that's the question.
Because you could just send in. Would you? That function gets called. The interrupt gets called. Oh, that's what int. It's interrupt. The whole function is the interrupt. I think. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Door unlocked. I just passed it all in as hex, and then passed DE. I actually passed it twice just to make it a full bytes.
Yep. We
So
couldn't figure out how the other thing got set, but we at least figured out how to overflow into the place it was checking.
which was probably the purpose of this one. I didn't even consider overflowing for some reason right now. I think we mentioned it really early on, but then we didn't even go down that path until you just did it a few minutes ago. So I'm gonna solve this sucker. There we go, back to the map. We unlocked Addis Ababa and Cusco.
So what, when you put in there the answer with hex encoded, you put the spaces between them?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if they're necessary, but I put a space in between every 2 bytes. So I literally just put all zeros and then DE with spaces. I was starting to I was like, man, this one, I'm getting scared. I didn't even consider freaking overflowing it. Interesting that you said it just stopped you from typing.
I could keep typing, but it wouldn't input any more into it. It would get about halfway through that second line and then not take anything more.
Oh, I see. I was keeping back city. Well, 1 hour is not. I mean, it's probably bad for people who really know what they're doing. They're like, what's wrong with you guys? Buffer overflow is the first thing you check. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.